Welcome to Climbing Together, the small business experience. I'm Beth Houtrow, founder of Climb the Small Business Book Club, and every episode I talk to a small business owner about a mistake that they've made and what they learned from the experience. Mistakes are inevitable, perfection's impossible, so let's embrace the mistake. And we're so excited to welcome Kristin Lobdell to the podcast. Kristen, tell us a little bit more about yourself and your business.
Hi, yes, thank you so much for having me. My name is Kristen, and the business that I own is K&L Co. It's a virtual assistant company comprised of me. I'm a solopreneur, and I serve wellness professionals with community management, content creation, and client communications. Under my virtual assistant umbrella, I've just recently added travel bookings to my resume as well. And I've also got a blog that I'm working on. So that's called The Introspective Entrepreneur, and that focuses on entrepreneurship, mindset, and self-care, all from the perspective of a virtual assistant working from home.
Nice. Awesome. All right. Well, so this is a podcast about mistakes. So talk to us about a mistake that you made when you first got started.
Yeah, of course. So the first one that came to mind was just like one of my initial clients. I had just acted way too naive and you always want to come forth with an attitude of gratitude towards your clients, but I was just like, thank you so much for this opportunity. Like, I need this opportunity to really learn how to be better at owning a business. This was like literally my first probably 2 months in business. And I just, I had kind of gotten an unexpected offer from someone I didn't really expect to want to work with me, really. And I was still at this place in my business where it was like, I wasn't really confident in, even who I was looking to work with, but this attractive offer came in. They were offering to pay me almost double what I was going to charge for my hourly rate. And so I just took on this project, but I really didn't feel ready to take it on and just went into it with this attitude of I need you to help me be a better service provider. And what wound up happening is that I kind of, I can see now looking back is that I was kind of evoking this sense of her needing to micromanage me and really tell me how to do my job because I was coming across to her like I didn't know how to do it already.
Yeah. Well, kind of a classic sense of imposter syndrome, which I think a lot of us feel, right? Especially, are you a little bit prone to perfectionism? Do you get uncomfortable?
For sure. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I think perfectionism can really lead to imposter syndrome because we think, oh, everyone else is just doing this so well. And obviously I don't know exactly how to do it and I might make a mistake. So I must not be very good at this. I mean, I experience that all the time.
Yeah.
Even things I do, I teach 3-4 nights a week. You give me a new class I'm teaching. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be terrible at this. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, there's a reason they keep hiring you to do this. And I'm sure there was a reason this woman chose you and hired you to take on that role. Yeah. She trusted you. You needed to
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
Totally.
Yeah. I love that story. Okay. So, if there was, one lesson kind of aside from the, own your skills, what would you share with an entrepreneur who is just getting started?
Well, I would just say, so that actual situation ended up in me ending the partnership because it wound up not being the right fit for me. So from that, I guess I learned, don't take something on if you don't necessarily aren't interested in the job or really if you didn't feel kind of ready to do it from the beginning. Trust your inner knowing, I guess, and allow yourself to wait for the right opportunity versus jumping into one that's,
just because it showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's great advice. And you can end up kind of wasting a lot of time and energy on the wrong project that's not going to lead you in the direction that you want to go.
Right.
But sometimes it's hard to know that. And so how did you get out of that situation?
I stayed with it. I kept trying to do my best, but I kept kind of reading the signs. So what wound up happening was I found myself writing my own job description. She had given that to me as a task before I was about to go on vacation.
Okay,
and I'm like, I
she
think
ended
I'm
it.
hiring my replacement here, but it's okay. But no, so I did come back from the vacation, and it just was like things were not the same once I returned from the vacation. I had received encouragement to go, but then when I came back, it was like I wasn't getting as many hours, and I could just tell that thing. Well, so what happened was it became a situation that wasn't working out for me anymore either, because she wasn't giving me the time that we had agreed upon to work. And so I wound up having to just, cordially part ways and move on to the next opportunity. But
yeah. And I think I am guilty of like not wanting to quit something, right? But sometimes it's not quitting when you're leaving the thing that's wrong for you.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Pursuing the better option.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it didn't turn into a disaster. We both were just able to have a good conversation about it. And, two women business owners, we understand that that's the way it works sometimes. And so,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. So at Climb the Small Business Book Club, we love continual learning and community. So let's start with the continual learning question. What is your favorite business book and why did you love it?
Well, thanks to Climb, you guys actually introduced me to my current favorite book, and it's Everything is Figureoutable by Marie Forleo right now, right? Until I find one that I like better. But that's, the freshest one in my mind right now that I feel like is really hitting home for me. I just related to, Marie's identity crisis as a business owner and, just in career in general. And, now it's just giving me the courage to kind of pivot into some new avenues that I'm taking my business in.
Well, you were the third person, I think, of like 10
who
said that book. So, and I like it too. So you are in good company. This is one of those books that really helps pick you up and move you forward or move you to the side or whatever direction you need to go in. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice. All right. Awesome. Well, you gotta love Marie Forleo. Okay. And then she should pay me for all of these plugs.
I know. Yeah.
All right. And then about community, tell me about how community has helped you, how it's important to you, what it means to you.
Yeah, I have really over the past years that I've had my business, which is almost 4, not quite yet, but literally from the onset, I've just been learning the meaning of community and how important it is. I need people who I can bounce ideas off of, who I feel not judged by and supported by. And I think the biggest lesson community helps me learn just on a regular, ongoing basis is being able to shape the services I offer so I can see what can I contribute, and just, in general, just being supported. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so many small business owners end up trying to do it alone.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, I'm an entrepreneur. I got this. Well, it's a lot easier if you have people around to buoy you up, to give you advice, to help make recommendations, all those things. Yeah.
Right. And to see what they're doing that works so that you see if they can do it, I can do it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know where I'd be without my community of small business owners. Awesome. All right. Well, Kristen, that's it. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you.
This podcast is brought to you by Climb the Small Business Book Club, where entrepreneurs go to learn, discuss, apply, and grow. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to subscribe at Apple, Spotify, or Google Podcasts, or follow us on Instagram at Climb Book Club. And always remember, mistakes are inevitable, perfection's impossible. So let's embrace the mistake.